We're about to pull back the curtain on a hidden health crisis that's affecting millions and millions of men. But even more important than that, we're going to show you how to read your body's own built-in warning system so you can stop this thing before it's way too late. So, what if I told you that one single blood test could predict your risk of a heart attack, a stroke, or even some serious cancers long before you ever felt a single symptom? Well, that test, it already exists, and it all revolves around a hormone most men think they understand, but honestly, usually get completely wrong: testosterone. See, it's not just about building muscle or your sex drive. It's really the biological barometer for your entire system. And the link between your sexual health and your heart health it's just startling. Get this, a full 15% of men who develop erectile dysfunction will have a major heart attack or stroke within just 7 years. This isn't some minor symptom you can just brush off. It's a giant flashing red light from your body. And for younger guys, the alarm bells are ringing even louder. A staggering 30% of men under 40 who get diagnosed with ED are found to have prediabetes or even full-blown diabetes on the very same day. So no, this is not a problem for later in life. It's happening right now to men in their prime. So what does all this mean? It means these issues are your body's way of sending up a flare gun. It's a biological fire alarm, and it's screaming at you to pay attention before something catastrophic happens. So the real question is, are you actually listening to the signals? But look, this isn't just about individual health problems here and there. We are looking at a massive, population-wide crash in men's health. And the craziest part? It's all being hidden behind this totally flawed understanding of what's even considered normal. The numbers don't lie. Since the early 2000s, the average testosterone level in young men has absolutely cratered. It's dropped from around 600 down to just 450. I mean, this isn't a slow drift, it's a cliff. And it's directly tied to our modern lifestyle. As a society, we're becoming more obese, we sit around more, and we're more stressed out than ever before. And here's the big deception. You could go to your doctor, get a blood test, and they might say, hey, you're normal, just because you're above some arbitrary lab cutoff. Maybe it's 300. But that number means almost nothing without context. Normal does not mean optimal, and it sure as heck doesn't mean you actually feel good. All right, so if the whole idea of normal is a trap, how do we actually fix this? We're going to break it down into 3 pillars. And the first one, well, it's arguably the most powerful one, because it involves 2 fundamental levers that you have direct control over: your weight and your sleep. You know, obesity is the #1 lifestyle factor that just crushes men's hormones. And it's because of this nasty, vicious feedback loop. See, low testosterone makes it way easier to gain fat. Then that fat tissue acts like a little estrogen factory, converting your precious testosterone into estrogen. Well, that signals your brain to produce even less testosterone, and you see where this is going. The whole cycle just accelerates downward. But here's the incredible news. The comeback can be absolutely massive. If you lose just 15% of your body weight, you can naturally boost your testosterone by up to 250 points. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a more powerful intervention than a lot of prescription drugs, and it's something you can do entirely on your own. And then we've got sleep. And listen, it's not just about how many hours you get. The timing. The timing is everything. The most vital window for your body to produce testosterone is in the second half of the night, specifically between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. So if you're waking up at 5 a.m. to scroll on your phone, you are actively sabotaging your hormonal peak for the entire day. But it's not just our personal habits. Our second pillar shows how the world we live in is actively hostile to male biology. I mean, modern life, in some very real ways, is literally cooking us from the inside out. Think about it for a second. Why are testicles outside the body? Because your core body temperature is literally lethal to sperm production. But modern life constantly exposes us to heat, tight clothing, laptops, warming temperatures, and even worse, we now know that tiny bits of plastic, microplastics, have been found inside human testicular tissue. Our world has become an obstacle course for male fertility. And then there's stress. Researchers found this thing they call operator syndrome in elite soldiers. Extreme life-or-death stress causes a massive crash in testosterone. But the really shocking part is, the levels don't just bounce back when the stress is over. They can stay crushed for weeks, even months. And if you're a high performer in a super high-stress job, a founder, a surgeon, an attorney, you are very likely putting your body through a civilian version of this exact same syndrome. All of this leads us to our third and final pillar:
a concept that completely changes the game, and one that, frankly, even a lot of doctors get wrong. It's your personal genetic code. And this, right here, is why a universal number for healthy testosterone is a complete and total myth.
Okay, so deep inside your DNA, you've got these things called CAG repeats. And what they do is basically determine how sensitive your hormone receptors are. Think of it like the antenna on a radio. If you have long repeats, your receptors are insensitive. You might have a lab value of 450, which looks healthy on paper, but you feel awful. But if you have short repeats, your receptors are super sensitive. You could be at 250 and feel like an absolute superhero. Your personal experience is what matters, not just the number on the page. So when you start to understand all this, a really common question comes up, especially from guys who are trying to optimize everything. With all this talk about fat turning testosterone into estrogen, should you be trying to just completely crush it, to get rid of it?
The answer is a very emphatic, absolute no. And trying to do that is one of the biggest and most dangerous mistakes that men make.
Look, men need estrogen. You need it. In fact, you could argue it's even more critical than testosterone for your libido and for actual sexual function. If you artificially crash your estrogen with blockers, you don't just kill your sex drive. You also start to lose bone density. You put yourself at risk for osteoporosis. What you need is a healthy balance, not total annihilation.
So let's tie this all together. What is the true path to reclaiming your health? It is not about chasing a specific number on a lab report. It's about understanding the entire system as a whole.
I love this analogy. If you have a broken leg, you don't just take Vicodin to mask the pain, right? You fix the underlying break. Well, symptoms like low energy or brain fog or ED, that's the pain. Don't just take a pill to mask them. You have to fix the underlying cause. So here is your action plan. Focus on that 15% weight loss goal. It's a game changer. Protect that critical 4 to 8 a.m. window of sleep like it's absolutely sacred. And most importantly, start thinking about your health in terms of your unique genetic wiring, not some arbitrary one-size-fits-all normal range. At the end of the day, your hormonal health is a direct reflection of your overall health. It is the single most valuable asset you will ever own. So the only question left is, are you doing what it takes to protect it?